Well, hello, it's Wednesday, so it must be time for Woolly Hats Wednesday WIP. And apologies for the late posting of last week's, excuse me, but I thought I posted it, but obviously, because I was travelling, the signals weren't strong enough to post it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a post from Filey, where we were last week with our friends, and we had a lovely time, swam in the sea and all that kind of stuff, and then we went on to Colchester. Anyway, this week, bit of a change of temperature, but you do join me underneath the damson tree. It's not raining today, but it might be tomorrow. The grass is looking remarkably green, considering it was looking quite dry before, so that's quite good. And things are growing in the allotment, and my damsons are nearly ripe and ready for picking. So there you go. You know what you do with damsons? You make damson gin, or damson and chocolate cake, or something like that. Anyway, that's not knitting and crochet, and this is about knitting and crochet. What I thought I'd do is, I showed you last week my new knitting project, and I thought I'd show you a bit more and talk a bit more about it. So the pattern is that, yeah, and it's from Rowan magazine number 66, and it's using ferrule technique or stranded knitting. So you use two colours on a row and they go right across. And those of you who came on the ferrule knitting course will know all about that. So knitting thing. So there's the beginning of it, and you can see there's lots of different colours. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 colours. Okay, so lots of blues and things, and I'm quite pleased that this is a great stash busting project. I haven't had to buy any yarn to do it. So the things I'm knitting with are the pattern calls for Rowan felted tweed, which I've got this. So felted tweed is a nice yarn to knit with, and it's what is it, merino and alpaca. So nice. So merino is a lovely strong yarn, and alpaca's nice and soft, so it has a lovely feel to it. Well, it's got some viscose in as well, but it's a lovely, and it's a light yarn. It's not a heavy wool, so all of this wool, there's light bits to it as well, which is what the alpaca does. And also excuse me, it's quite furry. I don't know whether you can see there, it's quite furry, so it's good for a ferrule technique because the yarns knit together and they don't slip, so you don't get gaps in your knitting. So I'm using that as the arms and the colour, but I'm also using some mustard, which I used left over from a jumper I knitted the other time, and then this is I'm not sure where I got this one from, but this is also felted tweed, and that's a lovely turquoise. And so I'm matching those with different colour. Oh, and they've got this, which is West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab, which is British wool, Blueface Leicester, and some others as well. And that's a lovely, and again that's a furry. You see the furry bits there. So again, that's good for doing ferrule. So those are sort of the big manufacturing ones, but I'm also teaming it with yarn from different holiday things I've been on. So this one is a lovely variegated one, and this is from a company called Pigment and Ply, and it's merino and cashmere, so it is nice and soft, and again it's quite furry. So the merino gives it the strength and cashmere gives it the furry bit. So that's it's all double knit. So that's that one, Pigment and Ply, and I got it in a shop in Ingleton. So it's a lovely little shop. The lady there specialises it more in crochet than knitting, but she has a really nice selection of yarns, both general yarns but also hand dyed stuff as well. So that's a Pigment and Ply, and then the other ones I'm putting in are, so this is a variegated yarn, different colours, and it's from Jenny Howe, and I went to her shop earlier in the year. We were walking the St Cuthbert's Way and ended up in Berwick-upon-Tweed, and lo and behold, in the very same street that our Airbnb was Jenny's shop, and she sits in her shop and she spins. So this one is a double knit as well, Blueface Leicester and Corriedale wool, so it's British yarn, and again it's double knit, so that's a nice one as well. So I'm using that, and then the final one I'm doing, this is West Yorkshire, but no, this is a Rowan as well. This is Moordale, and this is wool with alpaca. So again, it's the strength of wool and then the softness of alpaca, and it is quite furry. So all of them are good. So they're similar mixes of wool and something else, and they're all very furry, so that they're good for doing your fair isle and knit together. And so far, I'm quite pleased with what I've done so far. So so that's the front. You can see the different colours and things in, and so that's the pigment and ply. That's the green is the West Yorkshire spinners, and then the yellow is the Rowan felted tweed, and the turquoise is a felted tweed as well. I'll be using the hand spun one from Berwick further on. So they are. So that's looking quite good. So this is the back. So that's, you can see that you carry the yarns over as you're going along. Okay, it looks quite neat, doesn't it? It's quite nice. Anyway, so that is the front. It's quite an interesting pattern because the front and the back are made of two different halves, so that you sew them together and it sort of goes out like that. So we'll see how that goes, because this is a new kind of design. The designer is Galina Carroll, so I don't really know much about her. So perhaps I'll find out. But there it is again. That's what it'll look like in the end. So that's the grey I'm using at the bottom. And then they're more sort of purpley, but I've gone for blue and green, which is quite nice. So that is my project for doing things for today. I've got other things on the go, as you know, but you have different different projects for different things. So that is quite good. It's not too difficult a fair isle to do, but you do have to pay attention. So, but you can have I can have a conversation while I'm doing it, so I'm quite pleased with that. Anyway, so that's that one. What else have I been doing? Well, when I came back from my travels, plopped through the letterbox inside crochet, and I quite like the look of that one. It's a good stash busting project as well. It's Aran weight, but you could do it with a double knit or even a 4-ply to use up some of your works, some of your stash, and that's a nice cushion cover. So I thought that was quite nice. This is mosaic crochet, so it looks like fair isle, but it's not, because you only use one colour at a time. And those of you who came on my mosaic crochet course or workshop will know all about that. So that's what it looks like. So I was quite like that, and I've got lots of colours I can use for that. And again, you can use different types of yarn, but it's best to keep to the same weight, so it'll be all Aran or double knit. But you need to have if you have them too varied, it can, and you don't know what you're doing, it can look a bit messy. So it's probably better to use something that's got a common theme through. So all of my yarn for this was Stash Buster. There's obviously a wool base, but good with the furry bits as well, as I say. But that could be quite a nice one in cotton, I think. Anyway, I've got plenty of other things to do. And one of the things I shall be doing is on Saturday I'll be going to the pop-up wool show in Port Sunlight. So it's in the Hume Hall, which is between the pub and the Lever Hume Art Gallery. Sorry, Lady Lever Art Gallery. And if anybody wants to come with me, I've got a car with some spare seats, so if you want to come along, then let me know, and we can go together and save a bit of petrol, save a bit of the planet. And save a bit of money, so we can then spend it all on wool. I've been to it a couple of times before. It's a nice little show. It's not too big, and they have quite a few local people there. One of the ones that I quite like is Coastal Colours, which is based in Fleetwood, and they have loads and loads of different yarns, both double knit, 4-ply and other stuff, and lots of different colours. It's fantastic. But there are other people as well, doing not just yarn, but notions and other things, and other little crafts that you might be interested in. So I do recommend it as a nice place to go. There is an entrance fee, but I think it's only about £6 or something like that. It's very, very easy, very low price, and you can buy the tickets online before you go. So there's something to do on Saturday the 20th of August. So if you want to come along, then please let me know. Anyway, that's all for me. I shall let you know how I get on at the wool show, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.